Like for the team on the side, I shoot my bike behind your bike.
So we just did Nigel Farage there doing a little interview, and we had a little chat. So we actually had chatting away. I was hoping to ask him a couple of questions, but unfortunately didn't manage to get a question in. And just about what was happening with UKIP just now, if he's going to set up another party. But it was quite interesting. Put the video up in a minute. So I mean, just a disaster for Theresa May. Not got the numbers just now. They're still debating on whether or not, because she has presented this deal, whether or not it's got to be brought forward now to the actual Parliament. Let me just swing it around. This is all the media, but let me just swing round here. So, whether or not Theresa May has got to bring the deal forward, she has made a mess of it. It's a disaster. And the SNP are now talking about another referendum. I think the SNP want never endums to actually bring forward whether if they don't get the vote that they want, let's just have another one. Let's have them until we get the vote that we want. That's not the way it works. You have the referendum, and if you lose, you have to accept the result. At a later date, possibly after we have left, another referendum would be viable to come forward. But right now, there is no prospect of a second referendum. There's no requirement for a second referendum because of the fact that the vote that was cast has not been implemented yet. So there's no scope for a second referendum. There's no legal or political or moral scope for a second referendum in the UK. The deal that she brought forward was a disaster. The DUP didn't like it. The SNP are wanting to stay in. I think the SNP are now about to change their name from the Scottish National Party to the Scottish Globalist Party, because they're not actually nationalists as you would know it. They are internationalists, and they want to move along to the one world fascist government. The procedures are already in place through what's happening in Marrakesh this week, where they want to allow mass immigration and basically to displace the indigenous population. They have already now failed because of Brexit, and there's more of a national, global, which is a good thing, free trade agreements that are going to be put in place. But Theresa May has failed to actually bring the deal forward. Quite incredible, guys, quite incredible. The DUP have obviously rejected this. The DUP will not want to be treated differently from the rest of the UK, and this is obviously having thrown out this policy or this agreement. Theresa May may have to go back to phase one, although apparently there is talks about forcing her to actually bring the vote forward because she's already presented it. I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. But we knew it was a mistake to have a Remainer in charge of the Brexit process. Unfortunately, the Conservative Party have been infiltrated by globalists, just like the Labour Party, and they're not representative of the actual constituents that they're meant to represent. And the whole thing has actually become a mess because they're not doing what they should be doing and representing their constituents. They are actually getting elected and doing what the hell they like. So we've now got Theresa May nearly finished. This is a very slippery slope she's on. She will actually start to deteriorate now. This is her the wane of her premiership now happening in the Parliament behind us. She is not going to get the deal passed or the agreement passed. She has to redo it, and they would have to be redone. So she's going to upset somebody, and I would suggest to people you don't want to upset is the 17.4 million voters who may turn to UKIP because of an alternative to this sort of the globalists within the Conservative Party who are misrepresenting their constituents. So this 17.4 people might actually start to vote for Brexit, or for a Brexit party, should I say. So, I mean, that is just absolutely incredible what's happened. Can't get it through Parliament, just a disaster just now. What's going to happen? We don't know. If God only knows what's going to happen now. She will have to bring it back, change the deal, bring it back, and if she makes it more in favour of the EU, i.e. staying in the customs union, then it's going to get even more disliked amongst the Brexit supporters who voted to leave the EU and voted to leave the single market, which was actually stipulated by the Prime Minister David Cameron at the time. So then the misrepresentation of the deal to the people. This is a disaster for her. This is potentially her on her way out. She will have to redo the deal unless it's redone satisfactorily. I think this is the end of the process for her, and just quite incredible. It's just going to be a disaster. Okay, well, my baby Guerillas, fun and games at Westminster.